any zoning character. And if we've seen Zelda beforehand as anything to show, like, this is going to be a very comfortable matchup for them. So the onus is on Whale to adjust their playstyle, and let's see how well they could fight against the 2-1 combo that is Zelda and the Phantom Knight.
Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, ultimate matchups, my friend. It's a game for studying, for sure, whether you're a player or a commentator. The course, the game, definitely about the players at the end of the day. We're on small battlefield, once again, already eating 41%, and I couldn't agree with you more. This could definitely be a zoner or a trapper's worst nightmare. Not even for the fact that Zelda's, of course, has a reflector that also functions as a get-off-me move that comes out on frame 5 before the actual hitbox of the attack comes out. Fun fact for you all to know. You also got that Phantom Knight coming in clutch for this girl right there every single time. It is going to eat alive any and all projectiles that Isabelle will have to offer. I'm more than anxious to see how a character like Isabelle will be able to close the gap against Inu. And what I want to see personally is to make sure that gap never gets created. If Whale can somehow find a way to actually maintain a solid enough distance, a close enough distance against this Zelda to the point where the Phantom Knight won't be as much of an operator in this particular mission, that is where I think Isabelle can do really, really well. As you can already see, Whale working really hard to keep the pressure on, already lapping by almost 100%, and there's the stock hangman.
There's a couple of things in this matchup that we've already seen that Whale is very proficient in, and I want to take a moment to highlight them. For one thing, a couple of things we've seen now, with this being the second set in a row with Whale on stream, they're able to do this little technique with the Lloyd Mine after you set it off that allows Isabelle to quickly slide in one direction or another. That little bit of micro movement is really important for being able to get out of Zelda's burst option at the ledge, because you can commit to either ledge trapping or running away. Fighting in close on Zelda is kind of hard to do at high percentages, especially as Inu just showcased that threatening on shield without a clear game plan is a great way to have a stock taken away from you. But another thing that I want to highlight that Whale's been doing, I think, especially correctly, is the range that they're playing at is at max distance for the pellets, but while approaching with them. Being able to close in, be right on Zelda's face, but still not yet close enough that you have to worry about having to deal with all of Zelda's really powerful out-of-shield options.
Yeah, that's a very, very scary thing when you're able to play from, when you're playing from that distance against Zelda. I was talking about how, like, you know, Whale was doing such a good job at not even needing to close the gap because just he's not letting Inu create it at all. But as you can say, as the up throw with the fishing rod does not take the stock. Yeah, those burst options that Zelda has out of shield are really crazy, man. The lightning kick as the stop sign's going to take the stock right there. They're pretty scary, man. I mean, those are some of, if not the greatest combo breakers in this entire game, as you could see before, mashing the up tilt on the shield and then eating a clean 30 for it right in the back.
But I do want to catch right on that wording that you've chosen. Combo breakers, yes. But Isabelle is not a combo character. While she does have a couple of moves here and there that will string together 2 or 3 hits, this is a character that's winning by little interaction by little interaction. By virtue of how her zoning tools are, this character is not really going to be on you for long if she's on you at all. So that is one of the instances where one of Zelda's strengths, especially in online play, is not really as prevalent.
Yeah, you know, that's a really good point. I mean, it's definitely the kind of character where if you mash on, for sure, if you're the kind of character who likes to get those big strings, or if the kind of character that can, if they're not true, you got to be really careful against a character like Zelda. But that's a really good point. I mean, Isabelle's not a very combo-oriented character, rather the type of more zoner and trapper that we got going on instead. It's going to be, that's the more important thing for sure to think on deck. So more than anything, we haven't really been seeing Whale do that, as you mentioned, because they're not that kind of character. I did see one instance where, because they were up a stock, they started to just spam up tilt on the shield of Inu a little bit. God, there's anything that Whale has been doing immaculately tonight. It is catching those damn landings. I'm a zoner main. I like to test you, my friends. I like to test your patience. You're gonna get impatient against me eventually. I know how people get against characters like this. Why am I losing to Isabelle? God, this isn't a character. I'm getting so frustrated by the zoning. They know when they're eventually just gonna go in like that. And there it is, my friend. Losing a little bit of patience.
So I'll be honest with you, into this. I've been waiting for that to happen all of that game 1, because there was a couple of times where Inu was landing in on Whale very recklessly, either with a neutral air dodge, which we saw was the result of that kill there, or trying to come in with an ill-timed forward air or back air. Now, Isabelle isn't super well equipped for punishing those out at the earlier percentages, and in general, it's not a bad idea because she doesn't have the greatest of burst options. We've seen up smash kill a couple of times, but it's not especially powerful. It's mostly coming out because Whale is able to harass over an extended period of time. That there, though, at those troubling percentages for Inu, it was just disaster. You cannot be coming in with neutral air dodges like that. And hopefully this change of scenery is what Inu needs to try and even things up here.
Yeah, it's like, Isabelle's not like truly full set play character, but in the neutral, depending on who you main, you kind of got to fight her like she is. Like she really forces a lot of discipline on their opponent to know when it's safe to go in and when it really isn't. And she is generally, by some, considered to be low tier because some characters don't really care about a lot of the tools she has to offer. But if you're at the end, if you're unfortunately at the under end of the stick where you have to actually respect that, that is where a character like Isabelle will absolutely eat you alive if you are not disciplined. This is what I want to see from Inu a little bit more. Not only that, is that lightning kick right to the dome. Would you stomp the puppy for $10 million? Inu's saying yes right now for sure. This is what I want to see from Inu for sure. Not even a matter of closing the gap, but in terms of just creating it more than anything else, which is why I love this Smashville pick. That one solo platform at the top is going to be so polarizing because Inu not only will be able to camp on it relatively easy, but that Phantom Knight will take up just about most of this stage if Inu is whipping it out more and more frequently, which is what I want to see from them, as that Knight will eat away most of Isabelle's projectiles.
Just like that. So Whale managing to catch up the situation right at the center of the stage, and I feel like Whale, to their credit, is also playing at this stage very well, at least from the positioning of the Void Mines. They're very specifically trying to cover a space that's beneath that platform. Now, you did highlight that Soul platform here on Smashville and how well Inu's been using it. As far as fighting against projectile characters, for the most part, you want to try and use it like a ceiling of sorts. Oh. But you have to be paying attention. Finding a character like this, covering with Din's Fire, a move that, under normal circumstances, is pretty good for edge guarding, especially out deep. But it is a hard commitment of a button, and when Isabelle has your Phantom Knight in tow, even at earlier percentages, that is dangerous play.
Knight ain't loyal. Not loyal at all. Switching up Isabelle out here, swiping left on this Zelda real quick. As Inu, so as they Whale try to swipe left once again. Yeah, there you go. 1-1, and it is in the favor of Whale right now in terms of 1-0. The HUD is unfortunately a little inaccurate, but as we advance further, Whale definitely up in terms of percentage right now. Really, very quickly bringing this game back. That was definitely like the big turnaround equalizer moment right there, was that Phantom Knight on the part of Whale, not reflecting, excuse me, while pocketing it right there, for sure. Looking very poised in the neutral right now, trying to catch
right there. We almost saw it once again, but I think Inu this time learned their lesson. We didn't see the aggressive air dodge inwards, but poor covering from the off stage does prevent Inu from being able to cap out the kill right there. And Whale expertly navigating their way back. Down tilt does not lead into Phantom, and just like that, it's a little bit of a messy game. It's funny because even though Zelda has great punish options, given the fact that Isabelle's fighting from so far away, it almost doesn't matter. And we're really seeing that come into a matter of frustration against Inu here.
Yeah, Whale just doing a wonderful job at dealing with the Phantom Knight right now for sure. I mean, I don't know, Inu, like, I feel like Inu could have gone for a grab earlier to just confirm into it, but instead the down tilt actually popping above, and there you go, Inu putting themselves on the board right now, finally, with that forward smash. The counter pick finally coming in clutch for them, having just able to actually narrow down the space with or without the Phantom Knight for sure, and taking a little bit of a page out of Whale's book right there in terms of step back forward smash, shifting their hurt box a little bit to catch that landing. Beautiful stuff right there.
I feel like that's just one of the universal things of Ultimate that's just really good. I really can't think of a single character that doesn't like to just step a little far back and then forward smash. I mean, the first that come to mind are, of course, the disjoint characters, but it's such a laughably easy thing to take advantage of sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's really useful against these slower characters because one way or the other, you want these characters to approach in on you. That's asking a lot given how defensive Isabelle and Zelda naturally are, but both of these players are well acclimated to their characters for playing a bit aggro. So if you eventually get them into a groove where they're forced to approach, you just have your good responses on that. Game 1, we really saw that in favor of Whale. In Game 2, we saw that more in favor of Inu. So given how back and forth this set has been, I'm curious to see if the setting of Game 3 really does have a pushing factor into that back and forth, because that game too, I really think fell into Zelda's hands because Smashville is just so good for her controlling space aggressively. Small Battlefield, on the other hand, I don't think gives her that privilege.
Yeah, I certainly agree. I was just about to bring up, everything that you were just saying, I was gonna say, it all depends on where this third game is going to go, where the stage is going to be, because I gotta be honest, I think Smashville as a pick worked out really, really well for Inu, not just because of the Phantom Knight, but because of actually the distinct lack of options that you sometimes have on platforms in this game in relation to other Smash games. As a result, you know, I feel like Zelda just had, is that up B, does not take the stock. Just had a much easier time in terms of catching Isabelle's landings. They were able to get her in that no-fly zone off of the level, and as a result was able to get those step-back forward smashes that are just much easier to get in this game compared to some other ones as far as, you know, disadvantage being bad, as you mentioned. This was the stage, I want to just quickly mention here, this was the stage that Inu did lose Game 1 on. Little bit ballsy not banning it in terms of going back here. Perhaps they think, you know, stage got nothing to do with it. I can adapt here. I want a small level against Isabelle. Just remains to be seen.
Now, I feel like stage-wise, this isn't an especially bad stage for Zelda. In fact, I think Zelda can control the stage really well, and fairly safely, too. But for what it's worth, I do feel like it is more leaning in favor of Isabelle's tools, and I think one of the factors where we could see that so effectively is right there. We've seen how low of a commitment Whale has been putting into edge guarding. Not even really using Void Mine, just making sure to keep max distance of the pellets and Fishing Rod. And that alone has been enough to really force Inu to be choosy with the buttons that he's pressing.
For sure. You know, like having there be no center platform on this stage definitely sort of creates that different environment where Isabelle doesn't have as many easy options going down for sure, which just makes a character like her so much easier to catch. Certainly agree with you in that it rewards Isabelle a little bit better, especially in terms of her trapping. There are already, you know, more platforms there is as that up air takes the stock can already create a sort of no-fly zone when you're the one out of disadvantage. Small Battlefield is literally like this little weird mixture hybrid between Battlefield and Final Destination in that, yeah, there are some platforms, they can make your landings a little bit more linear, but it's relatively open because there's a giant gap split in the middle, like there's a Steve creating 2 blocks with a hole in the center of it or something, which creates this crazy, wild scenario as that beautiful trap into the turnip up air is going to take the stock right there for sure. It's why I agree that Isabelle definitely does better on a stage like this, because I feel like she does a much easier job in terms of catching landings and creating those patented traps with the Lord Rocket that she's just pretty much known for at this stage in the game, Hangman.
Yeah, no, I feel like, me personally, I feel like Small Battlefield is cracked for defensive characters. I feel like the layout allows them to play the ledge super well, especially in regards to the Animal Crossing characters. I think both Villager and Isabelle are able to really confidently cover the ledge and the platforms without giving up center stage. And in general, if you allow a character who's more defensively oriented to play aggressively and for that to not be a detriment to the player, that's a huge benefit. But there's not a lot of matchups where you really get to see that shine, and I feel like it's just by virtue of the fact that Zelda's kind of slow and kind of predictable that Whale is really able to take advantage the way that we've seen so far.
It's like, how do you out-defense a defensive type? You know what I mean? On a stage like this is definitely where that shines, especially in a matchup like this for sure. Isabelle's got those...
Oh, that's cute. There we go.
Well, oh my goodness. Just narrowly not killing right there, but gonna snipe with the Vase like a Zelda game and viewing some beautiful stuff, trying to keep that ledge coverage going with the Fishing Rod, recognizing that she was above 100%, trying to keep that option coverage.
No. Okay, cool.
Did at the end of the day with the Lord Rocket Hangman. This Isabelle is just absolutely everywhere. It all wants the coverage. The coverage, that entire sequence was gorgeous on the part of Whale Hangman.
Emotion.
He deserves a hug after that.
What a good girl. What a good girl. 2-1 for Whale. What a good girl. Oh, that was an excellent display of control.
Honestly. As if that wasn't enough right there out of the Lord Rocket. I mean, that's the Isabelle classic right there, you know, just literally combo for me into the kill confirm right there with the up air. Ugh!
Oh no, yeah, Lloyd Rocket leading itself into either up air, or if the Isabelle's especially cheeky, getting the Fishing Rod off of a Phantom Footstool and then up throwing. Oof, that's the spice. That's the spice.
And every bit of actual, like up close is where Isabelle was fighting right there, and it's because she knew she could, because not only because she had Inu in disadvantage right there, but because she was already thinking so far ahead with the Lord Rocket behind her to cover everything. The platform makes it a no-fly zone, because what is Inu gonna do? Jump from ledge to avoid, you know, just Isabelle spamming that jab in your face? Guess what? She's gonna react to that, and then just pop the Lord Rocket, and then up you go if you're not able to air dodge. And guess what? If you do air dodge, she's got plenty more time to react to that too, and then just punish you in center stage for it. That is so Raven.